I mean, this is just disgusting, I gotta say. I mean, I cannot believe what's going on out here. The reaction to Rush Limbaugh was like, totally squarely in his court on all of Fox News all day, every day, right up until the apology, and then something really weird happened. After he and I mean, how many apologies does this guy get? Truly. How many times do you get to apologize in a career? Donovan McNabb, Michael J. Fox, Sonia Sotomayor. He never apologized to her. Never apologized for Club Gitmo. Literally selling T-shirts for a place where we were torturing people. Never apologized for Obama the Magic Negro song. In fact, blamed it on somebody else. Never apologized for calling Chelsea Clinton the White House dog. Has never apologized for calling Michelle Obama uppity or making fun of her behind. He's never apologized to Jimmy Carter's daughter, Amy Carter, for calling her the ugliest girl ever in the White House. How many apologies does a guy get, and how many do you overlook? But before it becomes so uncredible when he says, I posited the wrong word. Can I just give you a little hint here, okay? First of all, the word prostitute should never come up unless you're talking about prostitution or David Vitter. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, or Elliot Spitzer. It should never come up, in light of congressional testimony by a private student who's in law school on a public interest scholarship. If you had done any research on her whatsoever, you would have known that women's reproductive rights is her passion. It is why she wanted to go to law school in the first place. It is the stuff that she did in the public. It is the stuff she did as a private citizen for the public that got her the public interest scholarship. I mean, I don't understand these people. I have no idea, why Newsbusters said the left-wing attack on Rush Limbaugh. Right. Can't a guy call a college girl a slut without people launching personal attacks against him? Can't that, happen here in America? What's wrong with us on the left? What's wrong with us? And then they wrote these anti-sex essays, including references to Democratic politicians whose careers were ruined by sex. All right, I'll give them credit. They did research, because it's so much easier to think of Republicans and sex scandals in the same breath than it is to find the Democrats. Although, I can mention Elliot Spitzer and Anthony Weiner. Rest in peace, Breitbart. But, if Eric Erickson wants the right to stake out their territory as the anti-sex people, I'm not going to stand in their way. What is offensive, though, is pretending he's sorry after 9 advertisers, 9, have pulled out of his show. People are getting sick of it, and they're not that stupid anymore. And, listen, my advertisers are, for the most part, his advertisers, and I gotta say, I've always liked them, but now I respect them, and I said that on Friday. These are awesome people who have daughters of their own, some of them. Others don't have political viewpoints, which is how they can advertise on both shows, but now they're just repulsed, and they don't want their customers to be in the middle of this battle. They just all they wanted to do. And today, what did he say? He sat on the air and he goes, he basically told these advertisers, who are amazing people. I mean, I meet with each and every one before we ever do advertising. That's why, when I tell you the story about the lunch with AOL Tech Guru, that is an absolutely true story. We met on Palm Beach at Testa's for lunch, okay? You meet and greet every single one of them. I don't know what his deal is. I don't think he has to do this anymore. But I like doing this, and I will always do it this way. I have always done it this way, where I like to meet the people who are trusting me with their business. But today he practically told them to go screw themselves. He said he didn't need them, that he turns down so much business that they can, take a flying leap and go to hell, and he'll find other advertisers. And then he claimed that he had dropped GM because he cares about the audience so much after the bailout, and then proceeded to trash Chevy's Volt. Who do you think dumped it? I mean, I gotta say, this is the most arrogant thing I've ever heard in my life. I don't think he understands how difficult he makes other people's jobs and other people's lives when he says stuff like that. I mean, people have got to be flipping out, you know, people that work really hard for a living, people that really do try very hard to find world-class advertisers, people that you would be proud to represent, to come on your show and put their trust in you as an air talent, put their trust in your audience as a loyal audience to that person, and then that person sits there and says, screw them, I can find more, I don't need you. You can go to, I mean, do you have any idea how many people go into putting a commercial on the air? It's not just like it's not just his decision. I mean, there are people out there that for a living they go out there, they take meetings, they discuss with potential advertisers. Then there are people that schedule the advertising. There are just all kinds of people that work to get an ad on the air. And for him to just sit there and spit in the face of the people in this company that work their butts off. I mean, I've never seen anything quite like this in my life, really, truly. I've never seen it ever. And then to sit there, here's the hypocrisy you will understand just on gut level, okay? Whether or not you understand how many people it takes to work on getting an ad to air. Let me just tell you, there's many hours that go into that, and a lot of work, and sometimes travel and flying and phone calls and exchanging, conference calls go into, and lunches and anyway, but sitting there and ranting against adultery while supporting Newt Gingrich. I mean, Red State went on a rant about promiscuous sex and adultery on the same web page that had a link to a video of Newt. Are these people immune to irony? You know, there is no analogy you can make to say, adultery and Rush Limbaugh is like, because the analogy you would make is like ranting against adultery and supporting Newt Gingrich is the analogy you would make to identify hypocrisy. I mean, and these articles that are on Red State and these women on Fox News, oh my God.
This particular woman is at Georgetown Law School on aid, but she is talking about the women suffering emotionally, Monica, as they pay almost $60,000 a year in law school, $44,000 in tuition, and $20,000 for living expenses on average, $60,000 a year for law school, and suffer this financial and emotional crisis of not having their contraceptives paid for.
Cry me a river, Megan. Cry me a river. Now the American people are supposed to be paying for somebody to have sex.
Well, at least Georgetown Law School needs to pay for it.
Listen, the tuition is $63,000 total cost, and you're telling me that they can't afford $3 for a condom. I'm just saying. Now, when she was testifying yesterday in front of Nancy Pelosi, who, of course, was bleeding heart with her, oh, I cannot believe you're incurring these costs because you want to have sex, she was saying it costs $3,000 a year to cover contraception. First of all, that's completely outrageous. And if you break down, and if you actually break down the average cost of contraception, condoms, birth control pills, you name it, then, according to her calculation, these girls are having sex 3 times a day.
These women, somebody really needs to go repossess their ovaries. Really, truly. They have no right to them. They are fabulous little organs, and they have absolutely no right to be estrogen-bearing beings, okay? Just cut them off. Let them go through the hot flashes. Let them just sit there and complain about hormones therapy, okay? Just take the ovaries and get it over with. Because they don't deserve to have estrogen. They really don't. It's a privilege. Here's the little factoid that is missing from all of this conversation. And, I gotta believe that Monica Crowley and Megyn Kelly, who is a lawyer, and all these other girls, know that they're lying to their audience. Here's the deal. Georgetown University requires that students purchase health insurance. And they purchase that health insurance from Georgetown University. It does not cover contraception, so that they are paying a premium for their health insurance, which is required, and they don't get comprehensive coverage, so then they have to come out of pocket on top of it if they choose to have an IUD inserted, or they choose hormone therapy, or, the birth control pill, which is hormone therapy, out of pocket, while they're paying a premium for an insurance policy that doesn't include or cover that. They have additional costs in addition to the premium. And also, what's really interesting is Georgetown University, which we've all discovered, I know much to our surprise, that it is a Catholic university, covers their employees for contraception, but not the students. That's what she is trying to tell you. That's what Sandra Fluck thinks is wrong. She pays for a health insurance policy. She doesn't get comprehensive coverage. The employees also pay for a health insurance policy. They do get comprehensive coverage. When the agreement was struck with the Obama administration and the Catholic universities and the Catholic charities, and it's one religion, by the way, that had objections, and Obama said then the health insurance companies would be happy to cover it because they would rather pay for contraception than pay for a pregnancy. It's just more cost effective to pay for prevention of endometriosis or prevention of ovarian cysts or prevention of pregnancy than it is to pay for those things after the fact. So we'd be happy to do that. That's all that's gone on here. And now you've got these women on Fox News. You've got RedState.com today. Does it matter if Sandra Fluck is a slut? Horny feminists now want subsidized sex. And Sandra Fluck's appearance is no fluke. Outlining all of the public service that she's done on women's reproductive issues. That is her interest. That is what she went to law school on a public interest scholarship to do, to be an advocate for women's health. That's her area of interest. And they're saying she's a plant, she's this, she's that, she's a slut, she's a prostitute, her parents should be ashamed of her. And then one little, I'm sorry the liberals made me do it, from the personal responsibility and accountability guy. Oh, give me a freaking break, man. And then telling all the people that work really hard in this company to go, they could take their sponsors and shove it. He'll get more. Wow. How much can you take? How much? And Newt Gingrich is out there going, this is a distraction because there's really a war on the Catholic Church, and that's what you should know. And, the Christian Broadcasting Company, all intimating that taxpayers somehow are going to be on the hook for something. Even, I got to say, this is such a low road, and I'm not surprised that the conservatives have taken it. But I just don't understand what is the hold that this man has so that the entire media complex would trash this private citizen, this girl, this third-year law student who's there on a scholarship, by the way, who had to buy health insurance as terms of her attending Georgetown that didn't cover contraception, but they don't have a policy against covering contraception because the employees' plan covers contraception. Why not the students? It makes no sense, and instead of having a conversation about how it makes no sense, they want to trash her. It's always for them been about personal attacks on people, trying to silence them. He did it to Sonia Sotomayor. He did it to Michael J. Fox. They do it to President Obama every day. He's a Marxist, Maoist, social... name-calling. This is it. Chelsea Clinton, the White House dog. Michelle's ass and what she eats. Michelle is uppity, and how insulting that is. This goes back to the days of Jimmy Carter when he used to, sit there on his stupid little local show and say how ugly Amy Carter was. Donovan McNabb, at least the NFL had the temerity to fire him. We don't tolerate this. And Michael J. Fox, he's faking his Parkinson's disease. What the hell? 49 after.
Randy Rhodes.
Cutting through the bullshit. This is the Randy Rhodes Show.
You're listening to Seattle's Progressive Talk, AM 1090. Now playing online live at am1090seattle.com.